If you've been stumbling around on the internet looking for the one true arbiter of taste, congratulations, quest complete. Yes, it is it is the Antichrist herself, Satan's favorite daughter, also known as the Haunted Hippie. Great to meet you if you're new. I talk about all things horror on this channel all year round, not just during spooky season. So if you want to keep this train rolling after next week, then click subscribe, like button, notification bell, that way my videos will stay in your feed. Today, as you saw, we are talking about the Halloween franchise, as I always do when we near the end of October. And I'm also continuing my series of reacting to bad reviews of my favorite films. There are certainly movies in this franchise that I rate very low, but I don't know if there's a single movie in this franchise that I actually actively dislike. I hold space for every film of this franchise, regardless of the quality, okay? Because I love to rewatch this franchise every single year. There's something special and different about each installment, so I am here to battle the uncultured today. I am actually not going to start with John Carpenter's Halloween, believe it or not, because I did a video earlier in this series covering horror movies of the 1970s, so of course Halloween had a big section in that video, but please fret not, okay? You can catch up on that and then come back here. We still have 12 more movies to talk about today. Oh my god, I'm gonna be here for a hot minute. Let's just dive in. If you're unaware, we search up the movie on Letterboxd and we put in a 0.5 star to 1 star rating, so we just filter to the best of the best. Halloween 2 is a movie that's really grown on me. It's become a lot more of a comfort watch for me over the years. The first 3 times I logged it on Letterboxd, I gave it 3 stars, but upon my last viewing, I gave it 3.5 stars, and I've always liked the movie, you know, I never thought it was one of the strongest of the franchise, but it's growing on me more and more. I appreciate how Michael doesn't kill children. So caring. This shit sucks dick and cock. Sucking dick and cock. And you did it at my birthday dinner.
And you did it at my birthday dinner.
Watch Rob Zombie's films instead. Oh my god, I didn't react to the entire thing before I started quoting Tati Westbrook. I have very unpopular opinions about the Rob Zombie films since I rewatched them last year. I'm pretty sure that I currently rate Halloween 2 above Rob Zombie's Halloween, but Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 I think is like my 4th favorite of the franchise as of my last watch. I'm gonna have an updated ranking by the end of this month probably, but I know that's a hot take, which is why I reacted to this as a hot take. I know that most people put Halloween 2 above Rob Zombie's Halloween movies. There's like a specific group of Rob Zombie fans, you know, that like all his stuff, but I feel like within the actual fandom, they're kind of few and far between. Goddamn you, Michael, you can kill, but you can't run. That's his whole thing, you know? That's what makes him spooky. I'm exhausted. This movie moves its barely existing story at such an excruciatingly lazy pace that I never get any enjoyment out of it. The lack of energy, originality, and cleverness is noticeable. Also, this was the beginning of the end for the Halloween franchise, as it meets an unforgivable dead end that would unknowingly burn the franchise to the ground like the same hospital it maintains its ridiculous plotting in. I just had to highlight this one because immediately from Halloween 2, that was the beginning of the end. Really dramatic stuff. Includes the most inexplicable use of Mr. Sandman and the weird-ass lunifying of one Sam Loomis. Not necessary. I do kind of agree with that. Why is Mr. Sandman in Halloween 2? I don't actually know. It's a royalty-free song, so I feel like it pops up quite a lot. It would have made sense for Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, I don't know if they were thinking, well, Mr. Sandman, the Boogeyman, potato. If you were really curious about that though, I might have spoken about it like 4 years ago on this channel. The amount of deep dives I have done on this franchise, okay, I've covered almost all of it. The only thing left really that I haven't done is compare the original movie to the original novelization, and that's coming on Halloween this year. But, you know, that's why I'm resorting to doing something like this for my Halloween franchise coverage this year. Who in hell knows what I'm gonna be doing next year? Lori, sweetie, aren't you tired? Just give up. He's obviously not gonna stop trying to kill you and there's literally nothing you can do about it. What's the point in trying to survive if Michael Myers is gonna try to murder you for the rest of your life? Avoiding death is much more of a struggle than it's worth at this point. Well, it seemed worth it. She got out, didn't she? And there were no other sequels at that point, so for all we knew, Michael died a fiery death at the end. This asthmatic son of a bitch shuffles like a geriatric and still catches up to his victims like some fucked up retelling of The Tortoise and the Hare. Girl, stop hiding and walk away. A motherfucker just walks in slow motion. Oh my god, you know what? I haven't pulled up the bingo card yet. I've been saying in the last couple videos that I need to have a bingo card for this series because we always run into the same stuff, and somebody actually created one. Oh my god, who was it though? I screenshotted the story, but it does not have the username on it. Oh, Daniela. Shout out Daniela for this. I'm gonna put it up on screen and I'm gonna try to reference it, but I might forget. So honestly, you can screenshot on it and play along. Here, I'll give you a freebie. This is one of the most common ones. Carpenter's music hard carries this boring-ass movie. We got one for boring, everybody. A chilling indictment of the hospital system during the Carter era. Someone asked, how are there two Michael Myers? Must have missed the plot point where that was Laurie's love interest, Ben Tramer. They literally killed a child. A lot of people talking about the cardinal sins of horror sequels, how this one just kind of became a gore fest compared to the first one. A lot of people are calling it boring, and people aren't entirely wrong on that. At that point, it was just all about copying Friday the 13th and keeping up with the trends. That one's kind of understandable. I say that we move on now to Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. This is one of my absolute favorites in the franchise. I give it a perfect 5-star rating. I love it so much, and I didn't always. I know that I gave it a terrible review back in the day. I have definitely had a lot of character development with this one. So let's see who on Letterboxd agrees with my annoying past self. Oh, brother. Okay, the most popular 1-star rating has 212 likes. So this is technically a Halloween film, just without Michael Myers, Laurie Strode, or literally anything that made the first two iconic. Instead, we get killer Halloween masks and an evil corporation trying to melt kids' faces off through a TV commercial. I respect the attempt to do something different, but the anthology format could have worked if the story wasn't so ridiculous. Calling this Halloween is disrespectful. It's like naming your goldfish Jaws, LMAO. If they titled it literally anything else, I probably would have been more forgiving. Total mess. I felt kind of compelled to read that because it is just the common sentiment about this movie. At least it was when I first reviewed it, because I feel like I hit on so many of these points. I'm like, it's not really a Halloween movie. And it's like, yeah, no shit. That's what everybody has been saying since its release. Like, get a new take, for the love of God. But I didn't know that at the time, okay? I was new. We just need to move past that opinion as a society. It's so old. We all know that it's the only Halloween movie without Michael Myers. We all know it's the odd one out. It's the black sheep. This criticism, I'm sorry, it just doesn't hold up anymore. It has nothing to do with the quality of the movie itself. Just enjoy it for what it is, for the love of God. The second highest review, also, like, why would they do this? Why would they leave out the iconic horror star the whole franchise is based on? You know what annoys me extra when, like, people are just not aware of the history of a franchise? Obviously, at the time, too, the movie bombed because people were expecting Michael Myers, so this has always been a complaint. But as a modern audience member, you know that going in, so you should know to manage the expectations. Okay, whoa. Edgar says, before any of you people go further, let's get something straight, since it's a matter of more importance than what you perceive. Oh, I'm sure. Not his last name being Cochran. That's so ironic. Oh my god, this is an essay. It's an essay! Oh, I think that's on the bingo card. Mark it off. So the interesting thing is, he starts on this very reasonable spiel about how people are inclined to hate it because it's not a Michael Myers movie, and how he agrees it's a wrong reason to hate the movie. And then you think that you're getting his conclusion about that people should see it as a standalone film and pretend that it's not part of the Halloween franchise, but then he says, not agreed. Because, according to Edgar, nobody with a functioning brain can consider this a good film. Well, I do have a panic disorder, you got me there. At least he liked the ending, I guess. Whatever. Oh, okay. Obviously, the producers had no idea how to market this useless piece of shit, so they thought labeling it as a Halloween movie would do it, but it did not. It absolutely did not. Wrong. Wrong-o. So that's wrong. That's just, that's on the bingo card. Bingo card! That's wrong. It was always going to be a Halloween movie. They decided that they were going to be moving in an anthological direction. They didn't make the movie and then go, oh, yeah, we'll probably sell more tickets if we just pretend it's part of the Halloween franchise. It was always part of the Halloween franchise. So the irony here is they say, obviously, the producers had no idea how to market this, so they did this. Wrong! Tom Atkins' character has subterranean amounts of charisma and pulls off one of the most I really don't want to be acting right now performances I've ever seen. That one made me laugh a little bit. Ugh, I just want to watch Michael Myers kill some people. Is that too much to ask? Yes, it is. Get a grip. I guess Michael got tired of walking. The reason he wasn't around was because he was taking a break. These aren't funny. I'm not having a good time now. People are just saying there's no Michael Myers. Oh, the plot is dumb. It's over the top. It's a movie. You're an adult. It's pretend. You should know that. Just try to enjoy yourself. Enjoy it for what it is. Most people do now. Honestly, I didn't look at the dates on those reviews, but there's definitely been a shift in sentiment, at least in the time that I have been on YouTube. Let me tell you. Whatever. I'm not here to convince idiots. Let's move on to Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. This movie, I know that I loved it upon my first viewing, and then I think that after having watched the entirety of the franchise and knowing that it kind of gets ruined, I don't know if I've been just a little bit soured on this film. film, but I went from a 4-star rating down to a 3-star, and that really, really bummed me out because I used to love it. I used to rank it so high in my franchise ranking, and now I still like it. Like, it's definitely got its great moments. I love the cast, but you know what? Maybe on my next rewatch, it'll be redeemed. Who's to say? Oh wow, look at this turnaround. Oh my goodness, this is even worse than I remembered. Borderline unwatchable to go from the majesty of part 3 to this turgid piece of crap. So somebody who really loved part 3, okay, kind of a win. Nah, I didn't like his new mask. Honestly, that is super valid. It is without a doubt, I'm pretty sure, my least favorite mask of the entire franchise. I think that the one from part 5 is kind of a close second. This is someone who's just like really fun at parties, you know, movie's just so bad. What keeps this from being 0.5 is Donald Pleasance. Boy, can he save any movie. The sound design is way off. The score is forgettable except for the iconic score. The mask looks dumb and the kills are lame in that they show very little gore or blood until one of the last kills. The whole plot makes no sense unless you've seen the sequels, and even then it makes no sense. The characters are flat and I just want them all to die. So much bad acting and like delivery too. Line delivery, they mean. It's just so boring. It's so boring to pick apart movies in that way. I didn't learn that until, you know, 1 or 2 years into making my reviews on YouTube. So I do shudder to think at me picking at the sound design in my original reviews. Maybe that was just the trend. This review came out in 2019, so like maybe that just was how we all were reviewing movies back then. I don't know, I don't remember. But can you imagine you're a person that's like excited to talk about a movie with someone and you're like, oh my god, what about this part, this, and blah blah. And they're just like, yeah, but like, didn't you think that the sound design was a little off? Did you not, you know, experience displeasure in the poor ADR? Like, that's not conducive to conversation. That's so boring. Michael is one persistent motherfucker. Imagine if he actually applied himself, he would have made a great business owner. I have always thought, I've never said, but I've always thought that Michael could be a great athlete. Probably would make like a great cross-country runner or something, though we never see him run. Maybe, you know what, maybe he is too lazy for that. Oh, brother, these guys stink. Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers is the first movie I've seen in a long time that completely disregards basic filmmaking rules and just goes in circles for 90 minutes straight with no sense of plot or coherent story developments, with one of the worst endings I've ever seen. Holy run-on sentence. In other words, it was trash. They should have let Michael die in 1978. Could you imagine how dull your life would be if you were like a Halloween 1978 purist and you were the type of person that was like, ugh, it all started going downhill with Halloween 2. From the very first sequel, they just should have stopped. Like, yeah, but then we wouldn't have all these other fun movies. Hey, Halloween 3 was a bust, so let's just completely rehash the first film, only we'll put the beginning at the end. Brilliant. Oh yeah, sure. Oh sure. Let's just ignore 2 of the fan favorite characters from the entire franchise. Plus, Donald Pleasance is there giving his absolute best performance, I think, of the entire franchise. No, sure. Let's just boil it down to that. Oh my god, they really should have just ended things after the first one. We're gonna need a separate bingo card, I think, for when I cover franchises in this bad review series, because how much do you want to bet that we're gonna see that for everything? Like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, I'm sure. Should have just stopped with the first one. Oh, we got our first little baby. Somebody who fell asleep while watching the movie. I think that's on our bingo card. Oh my gosh, it's not. Okay, we have boring and boring 2.0. I say that we replace boring 2.0 with Are You a Baby? Because anybody who falls asleep while watching a movie, I have a little bit less respect for you. Someone's saying like, what's up with the mask? Why was it blonde at one point? That's a fun little Easter egg if you're a major Halloween fan. Only the real true fans know about that little tidbit. It's fun. I honestly like seeing little things like that. I'm so anti-cinema sins because it's just part of the fun of the history of the movie. It shows like just how many human hands made a thing. It's why so many people are like vehemently against AI, because we want to know that the things we consume are created by other people. Art is about connecting with other humans at the end of the day. We got one of those annoying people saying like, watch this if you need a laugh. I was cracking up so hard. And to that I say, as I always do, oh, so the movie gave you joy? Heaven forbid. Okay, you know what? Let's move on to the next one. I don't think I'll get as mad because this has always been my least favorite of the franchise. I would venture a guess that even in my original ranking, I might have put Halloween 5 at dead last. I did give it 1 star the first time that I rated it on Letterboxd. I said, what in the fresh hell? So that counts for today's video. But then last year, I gave it 2 stars and I said, I've reached the level of enlightenment where the stupidity of this movie makes it kind of watchable unwatchable for me now, and you all wish you could be me. I'm sorry. I think I also gained a little bit of love for it because last year I did a very extensive deep dive on the entire Halloween Thorn trilogy. Watch that if you haven't yet. It's like an hour and 8 minutes long or something. It is very thorough. And whenever I do that much research on something, I just tend to have more appreciation for it. But I do think in my original review, I agreed with this top negative review here. This is mostly just Donald Pleasence screaming at a small child. Yeah, this movie used to really irritate me, and now that kind of makes me laugh. Michael beefing that hard with the 9-year-old. Every decision made in this movie is completely stupid. Michael's mask doesn't even fit, and ain't that the beauty of it? I'm gonna have a really hard time disagreeing with like anything that people say on this one, I think. For God's sake, let Michael kill that girl to put an end to this stupidity. Oh, just you wait on the next one. No worries on that. Oh my god, mine is like one of the top ones. It's like maybe a page or two down, but mine showed up. And like, why? It only has 58 likes. Someone made the point that, you know, why do we keep digging up Michael? The Terminator sequels add more to their stories than these. I have to play devil's advocate. This movie is certainly trying. They make the whole like uncle-niece connection, and we get a little bit of like a Ginny Jason psychological moment, don't we? Ooh, they're trying. We also have Jamie who can't speak for the majority of this film. God, some strange stuff goes down, doesn't it? I would say that Halloween 5 was probably the beginning of the end, at least for the original timeline. But then I really like part 6, but let me not get ahead of myself. Can't believe a vital part of this film was the wee girl having to charade Cookie Woman with big tits. Oh yeah, this person also mentions how they like introduce a psychic telepathic connection. I had neglected to mention that. Anyway, this one's pretty repetitive to what we've already seen, but I just like that first line. Oh, somebody said what I just said, that it marks the total decline of the franchise that Halloween 4 anxiously threatened at just a year prior. But this essay with the lack of paragraph breaks is a little bit deranged. I'm not getting into that. People saying the movie is horrible, how far have we fallen, a new low for an already floundering franchise, abysmal, dull, nonsensical. I should have expected that for this one. I just thought maybe we could get a little bit more of a laugh out of it. Oh, Loomis harasses a child for the first hour to find his lover, Michael. Is that the first person to make it a gay thing today? That's a little disappointing. After a creative opening, the movie loses not one, but practically all of its balls. God, yeah, I just think that most of us are in agreement. It really is the worst of the franchise, but I kind of have a feeling like, am I gonna eventually end up actually loving this movie for how bad it is? I kind of see that in my future. And if that is my destiny, I can't be mad at that. Let's move on to The Curse of Michael Myers. This one's gonna be so interesting because they don't have a separate listing on Letterboxd for the producer's cut. So people have to specify that in their review, but what if they don't? What if they're just casual movie fans? They don't even know that they have watched the theatrical or the producer's cut. How are we gonna know what they're talking about? It'll be an interesting one. Let's see. Last year, I rewatched both the theatrical and the producer's cut because they're very different, so I feel like it's worth watching both of them in my rewatch. And I have been all over the map, let me tell ya. I was on Letterboxd by the time I watched Halloween 6, luckily, so I have my very first review ever on here, and I give it 4 stars. I was saying that the producer's cut was garbage, and I love the theatrical cut because I accidentally watched the producer's cut first, but then I rewatched it in October of 2022, and I don't know if at this point I watched the producer's cut. I must have, because I only give it 2.5 stars here, and I just said like, you know, theatrical cut. Then last year I said theatrical cut is so stupid it rules, and then I made the revelation that I actually prefer the producer's cut. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how it'll be in the future upon my next watch, but what a journey I have gone on with Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Let's see what's going on with everybody else. Michael Myers works hard, but Paul Rudd's agent worked harder after this. Actually, not really, because immediately after this, he went to shoot Clueless, and then his career really took off. So he didn't have any trouble at all. Fair play to Paul Rudd for coming back from this. You know what? His performance is so ridiculous, his weird little accent he puts on. I can't help but bring it up every time I talk about this movie. When you make a movie so bad they decide to reboot the franchise afterward, I just know they were embarrassed. Yeah, but also maybe they were sad. Like, Donald Pleasence passed away before they even did the reshoots. Very sad stuff. A lot of people just calling it a mess, you know, talking about the plot, and of course it's a mess, but honestly to me that is the beauty of it. Oh, we have a list of grievances here. Sometimes these are fun. What an absolute disgrace of a film. I'm honestly so mad at The Curse of Michael Myers that I'm just gonna list the various reasons that I think it's utter dog shit. Let's go! What happened to the 6 in the title? I hate when sequels just randomly decide to no longer be numbered despite all previous entries being so. I'm with you there. Let's get riled up, partner. The Curse of Thorin has to easily be the dumbest plot point ever introduced within a sequel. As if Halloween 2 didn't already kill Michael's mystique, now he is just a quasi-contract killer? Was simply being a cold-blooded, emotionless psychopath with no motive other than to kill too cool that they had to purposefully fuck it up? Was the goal to have this look like a commercial? The editing is horrible and the film looks awful when it's dark. How are the characters unaware that they live in the infamous house? It's all they talk about in Haddonfield. Who even are half of these characters in relation to Laurie or anybody else that is Halloween relevant? Can people stop taking post-sex showers in horror movies so they stop getting killed? Oh, now this person is complaining about realism? Heaven forbid someone take a shower after doing the sticky icky. Angry ramblings aside, while bad films are one thing, the Curse of Michael Myers further proves that bad sequels are simply a whole different animal. I love it, honestly. Round of applause here for Sonic Temple. What a weird prequel to Ant-Man. Paul Rudd, hot, innocent. The rest of the movie, a war crime. Oh my god, that's Zoe Rose Bryant. I follow her. With good reason too. She's hilarious. And also sometimes she writes like very, very poignant reviews. Oh, and she's ranked the Halloween franchise. Oh my god, let's see. No, did she delete it? It's gone. I want to know her Halloween ranking so bad. Not cool. Why would she do that? Okay, whatever. I wonder if I went to her profile and I looked at her lists, I could find it. Oh, she's made a lot. Oh my god, it's gone. Why would she do this? Sad day. This is like the 4th time I've said this year, but this might be the worst movie I've ever seen. Well, maybe you should stop saying that then. Boy Who Cried Wolf. Oh, we got another Halloween 3 lover here. Never gonna forgive the idiots who made Halloween 3 fail. And then complaining about the incest in this movie. That's real. Those are real valid feelings. Okay, things start to get very repetitive here. So it's now time to move on to a new timeline. Halloween H2O, baby. Let's do it. Although I don't know why there are 2 listings for it on Letterboxd. What the hell's going on? Oh, they're identical. Okay, whatever. I've been up and down with this movie as well. I loved it the first time that I watched it. I felt like it was a really good, like, return to form. I loved the Scream vibes. Then once we were on Letterboxd, I said, it's too much like Scream. And the last time, I give it 3 stars, and I said, Nor, Cleor. I think we did a watch-along of it last year, and maybe I was drunk or something, because I must have been quoting H2O, Just Add Water, and I was like, I'm gonna make that my review. Weirdo. So this is one that I'm not really crazy about anymore, which is kind of sad, because I used to really love it. I wonder how much I'm gonna agree with the haters. How LL Cool J is the best part of this movie is beyond me. He is very fun. I do like him in this movie. This movie is fucking awful. It is a weightless cash grab sequel. Jamie Lee Curtis isn't good. Gasp. And I don't like what they did with Laurie. Even her confrontation with Myers is handled poorly. I don't like the setting. It doesn't feel like Halloween at all. There's no atmosphere or suspense. It's nothing but jump scares and it's not even remotely scary. The script is fucking atrocious and has so many plot holes. Michael Myers looks like a teenager and his masks are the worst of the series. The score is god awful and ruins almost every scene. It's boring and forgettable. Also, the guy in the beginning sounds nothing like Donald Pleasance. This is one of the worst of the series and I never want to watch it again. I really don't like it. Okay, damn, we get it. Is that the first one that I've read out today about it not being scary? That's on the bingo card, I'm pretty sure. I'm not gonna make the same joke that I've already made like 5 times about that. The returning viewers know, yes, I was gonna quote Britney Spears once again. If you're ever having a bad day, remember that multiple people thought it was okay to have a film with this title, that mask, and LL Cool J in a surprisingly significant role. Honestly, if I was having a bad day and I remembered that, I don't think I'd feel any better because this movie did really well for them. It's still a lot of people's, you know, in their top 5 in their ranking of the franchise. People really like H2O. First time I've ever watched this one. Haha, absolutely terrible in every possible aspect. It gets nothing right. I can't believe how bad and boring this one is. Michael looks and moves like a little baby boy that's just shit himself. Bad. What do you mean it gets nothing right? I'm really gonna need you to expand upon that. Because what do you mean? What do you mean? I think it's a sequel that gets the most right since Halloween 2. I definitely prefer the development of Laurie in H2O as opposed to Halloween 2. There's no development there. She's not very interesting because it's just a direct continuation. She has no time to process the fact that he's her brother and all of that. In H2O, I think that there's more weight. I enjoy that now she has a child and he is played by Josh Hartnett. The fact that she's run away from Haddonfield makes complete sense to me. I just wish I knew what they meant when they said it gets nothing right. Pretty much didn't notice this movie even though all the lights were off and I was watching it at midnight. Failed to compete with my idle thoughts about what color my carpet is. This might be a child, like a Gen Alpha, you know, raised with no attention span. Or my brother in Christ. Perhaps might you want to get checked out for ADHD. Peace and love, peace and love. That's like genuinely a little bit of a borderline concerning thing to share. A bunch of people calling it boring. Oh, what the fuck ever. But they gave it a heart. Dun, dun, dun. I think that one's on the bingo card. I'm gonna tally it up at the end and see how many we hit. Actually, no, but I'm so curious right now. I did say that's valid. There's one. That's wrong. Yep, that was on there. That one was funny. Yep, had that one too. Oh, I don't know if we're gonna get it. Was this written by a child? We got that one. It's not even scary. We got that. We got that's an essay. I haven't read them out, but yes, we did get review includes description of the plot. Boring, of course, we got half star or 1 star, but gave it a heart. We got that one. Okay, we've almost gotten bingo down the N aisle. All we need now is bad grammar. And then we got bingo, baby. I'm sure there have been some with bad grammar, but not ones that I felt like were worthy of reading out. So first and worst psych ward watch. Whoa. Well, that's really nice that they let you have Letterboxd in the psych ward. That's so crazy. Let me move on. I'm gonna go to Resurrection. Now, I love Halloween Resurrection, okay? Genuinely to my core. It is over the top, just diabolically bad. And that's what makes it so entertaining to me. And I might not even need to put in my search parameters. I'm going to because I see like a 1.5 star rating. But this is the top of the review page. So nobody fucking likes this movie but me, okay? Pretty sure I thoroughly hated it upon my first viewing. But by the time I was on Letterboxd in 2022, I gave it 3 stars. I said it's camp. And then last year, I even bumped that up to 3.5 stars. And I said never feel guilty about pleasurable films. I genuinely think that it's just so fun. It is so painfully of its time. It's wonderful. Okay. Since the highest rated review for this movie is 1.5 stars, I'll include it. Busta Rhymes Kung Fu kicks Michael Myers out of a window. That is a thing that happens. Fuck this movie. Okay, that was boring. I expected a little bit better of the top review. But people really, truly will never get over that. I don't think that anyone's gonna come around to this movie and consider it camp the way I do. Now, granted, every time that I rewatch it, I remember why I hated it so much the first time, because those first 15 minutes suck so much ass. So terrible. It really sours like the whole thing. You know what? I really don't need to put in the parameters. I really don't. Like, all these top reviews are just so bad. Look, if Busta Rhymes actually had a website called Dangertainment, I'd subscribe, as would I. Never have any of the Mount Rushmore slasher franchises stooped so low, bottom of the barrel trash. I don't think that's true. I mean, I do consider Halloween 5 to be the bottom of the barrel of the big 3 horror franchises. No, I put Freddy's Revenge, Nightmare 6, that one is at dead last, I'm pretty sure. And I wonder, I haven't rewatched that franchise in way too long. I wonder if I would actually enjoy that stupidity now. That is bottom of the barrel, okay? Nightmare also has some trash. A lot of people also agree, like, Jason Goes to Hell is trash. Like, people make arguments for a lot of the Friday the 13th movies. I'd probably rank, like, Friday 5 under Halloween 5, you know? So am I gonna say, you're just wrong, I can't believe they did Laurie dirty like that, oh my god, same. And why was that Jamie Lee Curtis's idea? Why was that her stipulation for starring in Halloween H2O? So bad. But then, you know, if that hadn't happened, we probably wouldn't have gotten the newest trilogy, which I love. So we win some and we lose some. This is the Michael Myers special of MTV Cribs. Nobody can get over the fact that Michael Myers got kicked in the head by Busta Rhymes, and I get that. But, you know, get a new take at this point. If you see all the top reviews saying that, create an original thought. Laurie kissing Michael's mask, LMAO, she's so real for that? Wrong. That's what I think of that. One thing that shocked me was how little Jamie Lee Curtis was in the film, in front of the poster, first billing, and blah, blah, blah. Then this person actually did their research and, like, wrote a mini essay on, you know, his findings about why she was hardly in the film. Oh my god, somebody who has the inclination to learn. Points for you. I only brought this one up to say that, okay, now that you know that, perhaps try giving it a redemption rewatch and have a little fun. Have a little fun with it. Although, you know what? I am skimming some of the research that he did, and he did not get to the bottom of the truth. I've never done a completely thorough deep dive on Halloween Resurrection because I kind of dove into it when I did my deep dive on Halloween H2O, so I didn't really find it necessary, but now I kind of am. I kind of really want to do a retrospective on Halloween Resurrection. Maybe I'll do that next year. Maybe I'm really not done scraping the bottom of the barrel with Halloween franchise content. We still have Halloween Resurrection. I can't watch how they get rid of Laurie. It still makes me sick. Okay, I think that we're done with Halloween Resurrection. Oh my god, it's time to talk about the Rob Zombie Halloween films. People are all over the map with Rob Zombie's Halloween movies. I feel like since I first reviewed it back in the day and I had a really bad time with it, I've come upon more people that do ride for the Rob Zombie Halloween films. Even like my friends on Letterboxd, if you look at all the people I follow, it's anywhere from 1 star to 5 stars. Like, just look at that spread. I have been on a journey with this film. Let's take a look. Okay, I watched the theatrical cut this time and I still wanted to rip my ears off. That was 2021, and then in 2023, I said the way this jumped up 2.5 stars for me is a laughable offense. Go on. Finally, last year, we actually went down to 3 stars, and I said it must be great living in denial. I must try it sometime. One of the best lines, honestly, in all of cinema history, and I'm not even joking. It's like the line in The Nun where he pulls out the blood of Jesus Christ, and Frenchie is like, holy shit, and the priest is like, the holiest. It must be great living in denial. I must try it sometime. That is one of the sickest reads I've ever heard in my entire life. It's almost as good as in Toy Story when Mr. Potato Head is like, what did you all take stupid pills this morning? God, just really great stuff. So I still like the movie. You know, I've been on my little journey with it. From 1 star to 3.5 to 3. Like, I do like Rob Zombie's Halloween. You just gotta get desensitized to the dialogue, really. Oh, and speak of the devil, the top liked half-star review is just quoting all of the most offensive lines from this film, yeah. Obviously, I'm not gonna repeat those on YouTube, but you know the ones. My discomfort movie. That's a good one. Why have I've never used that before. I'm gonna steal that, unfortunately. I am, sorry. You know how sometimes hours after you've had a very pleasant and delicious meal, you burp and you can taste the faint aromas of that meal mixed with the unpleasantness of stomach gases? Yeah, you know what I'm getting at. I do. That's a good one. And I really cannot begrudge anybody for disliking this film. I know that I hated it upon my first viewing, but I also watched the director's cut and it was so rough. I don't know if I ever want to watch the director's cut again, to be honest with you. Oh look, a god-awful childhood explainer from Michael, which only serves to make him less interesting than our lazy rehash of the original, but there's a twist. We say shit a lot more. Plus, see them Hooters. Not incorrect. Like, I think that these are really unoriginal thoughts now, and so it frustrates me, but I really should be more fair to these people because these were the kind of things that I was saying in my initial reviews. Granted, I was not really in the culture at that point, so I give myself a little grace. I was very young. But now at this point, like, they reviewed it in 2022. I'm like, come on, we were all so terminally online for like those 2 years. Surely you had seen those takes. Like, are you just parroting them, you know? There's no honor in that to me. I always prefer an original take, even if it's something way out there. I was gonna watch John Carpenter's Halloween because I'm skipping school today, and I figured that it would be nice to kick back and just treat myself. But then I got to thinking about this film and how much I hate myself, and I checked on Netflix and it was there. So I figured, what the heck? Rob Zombie's Halloween is a film for those who saw the original and were like, I wish this film was a steaming pile of garbage, with zero subtlety, terrible performances, and even worse dialogue. Those people would love Zombie's interpretation, which gives Michael Myers a detailed backstory, this is almost a half hour, and then for some reason goes back to being a faithful remake, yet lacking all of what makes the original film great. I actually owned this movie on DVD once, but after multiple attempts at trying to watch it, I threw it in the garbage. I will now spend the rest of the afternoon trying to figure out how to throw Netflix in the garbage. This person is hilarious. I feel like I need to follow them. I'm so glad that I'm the kind of person that can laugh at this thing, because when I would give certain movies bad reviews back in the day, like especially when I was younger, men were so not shy about being just fucking horrible to me. And they were at much bigger, much more grown-up ages than I am currently. And I just sit here and I'm like, oh, this person's hilarious. I'm so healthy. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're gonna get a follow, I think. Of course, there are a lot of the classic, you know, it does everything wrong in terms of what it does to the original story. This is a case where I don't need to wonder what people mean when they're like, oh, this got nothing right, because I can see exactly where people are coming from. But to that I say, you know, at least it's doing something a little bit different. I think that the last act of the movie is almost a little bit too faithful, aside from the climax, which is a little bit more interesting. But that's ultimately what I ended up liking about the movie, because as I, you know, do this for my job, but then also for enjoyment, I appreciate when I come upon an entry that is just so wildly different from the others. And it happens pretty frequently with this franchise. There is a surprising amount of variety. Halloween edgy version. Then, you know, Rob Zombie, you good? Dude, what the fuck? A lot of just, you know, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? A couple people who had to turn the movie off after the sexual assault of one of the patients. And to those people, if you're one of those people, I totally feel you. That was so rough upon my first viewing. Watch the theatrical cut. Do not watch the director's cut. You'll have a much better time. I mean, maybe not much better. Maybe not much. Let me not get crazy here, okay? But that's my recommendation. Anyway, as always, we have reached intellectual bedrock. rock. So now let's move on to Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Can't wait. I have been on the journey of a lifetime with this film. I used to rank it, I think, right above Halloween 5. If I had to guess, it was bottom tier. And then last year, something switched in me. I don't know what happened. The whole movie just used to be so beyond over my head. All the weird imagery and everything, the white horse and all blah, blah, blah. I still think that a lot of that is a little bit too on the nose. It's not executed very well, but I do appreciate the intent, you know, and I do think that it is kind of a thought-provoking movie. Regardless of how much grace things are handled with, it's not very much, but it's interesting, and I think probably the best performance ever of Scout Taylor Compton. So anyway, in 2022, I did give it a bad review, okay, 2 stars. If Rob Zombie didn't cast his wife in every goddamn thing, I don't think this movie would have had the dumbass subplot that single-handedly ruins the movie. Whoa, I went in. Points for a pretty accurate portrayal of a mental health crisis. I've only seen the director's cut if this matters. I was one of those unempathetic people at that point, by the way, that was like, oh my god, Laurie is so annoying in this movie. Why does she act like that? Like, get a grip. Am I really supposed to be sympathizing with her as the protagonist? And it's just because I was so used to our final girls being the moral center of the film, and movies are not always about having a likable protagonist. I used to be so annoying. Then I rewatched it in 2023, gave it an even lower score, and I said the theatrical cut is so booty, which I think I probably still agree with that. And then last year, I rewatched it on Halloween Day, so maybe I had extra endorphins flowing or something. And I give it 4 stars. I said I actually really like the director's cut, so whatever, cry about it. Told you, a journey. All right, haters, what you got? The top lowest rated review starts every single sentence with fuck, so I'm not gonna get into the whole thing, but a couple of them did make me laugh. For instance, fuck that white horse. I am inclined to agree a little bit there. Fuck Rob Zombie for turning Michael Myers' story into some weird LSD pipe dream that only he understands. I can see where they're coming from. Fuck New Loomis, he's such a That's what makes him so great. Fuck New Loomis's mustache while we're at it. I appreciate the fire. I love the passion in this review. Fuck new young Michael, who looks nothing like the old new young Michael from the last film. I'm not gonna keep going. I'll get demonetized anyway. Almost the entirety of this review is just someone saying they hated it. I think that is the first one we've gotten today. You know, it was a really big trend in my last entry of this series. When I did my part 2 of the 80s, so many people were just saying that they hated the movies. And I was like, this is new, this is different. And we haven't really seen that today. Congrats, Sarah Jane, you're the first of the day. I regret to inform you that the internet's favorite movie is still bad. They already gave him the giant build of Jason, and now he misses mommy just like him too. This movie's big innovation is that Michael has gained access to the music video world. Alright, that said, it's okay to like a movie, so have fun out there. Thank you, Eric. I tend to disagree that this is the internet's favorite movie. I know that there are some extremely glowing reviews on this app. For instance, Sean Fennessy, I think, might give this like a 4 or 5 star rating. He is like the biggest podcaster of the Ringer network, if you're familiar. It's a big like movie podcast network. So I get coming at it from that angle, but I still very much feel like I'm on an island loving Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. It is an extremely divisive film, and I think that I am definitely in the minority. But I don't know, let me know in the comments, obviously. Pretentious as fuck. Oh my god, wait, is that a bingo? No, not quite. That is in a different row. Damn. Someone said they've seen paint dry with more suspense, but this movie is brutal as hell. Hot take that I think that there's more suspense in the kill scenes of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 than whilst watching paint dry. And finally, there is no way people actually like this movie. You better believe it, sister. Movies were a mistake, actually. At least this person recognized Brad Dourif is the only redeeming quality in an otherwise terrible movie. I gotta say, this is not my favorite performance of him, but he does have his great moments. If cancer was pretentious, it'd be Halloween 2. Oh my god, oh, my friend Jennifer, this movie makes Halloween Resurrection look like a masterpiece. Sorry, let me go back. I got distracted by that one. If cancer was pretentious. Okay, yeah, right. Roundabout way of calling this movie a cancer. Got it? All right, all we've got left is David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy. And I love those movies. I really do. I'm still just a little iffy on Halloween Ends, as I think most of us are. But Halloween 2018, I have consistently given a 4-star rating ever since I've been on Letterboxd. It's never changed. That's so crazy and honestly really rare for me with movies. Things always tend to change a little bit. I'll spare you reading them all, don't worry. sorry, but the last one I said, this is my 5th Letterboxd review of this movie. I'm not coming up with a clever quip, fuck off. So anyway, what did total strangers on the internet have to say? Whoa, oh my god, the most popular 1-star review is very long. Maybe I can just like summarize it for you. The first paragraph, he's just like really heavily lamenting on this one specific quote, "I've been praying for the day he's released," saying it's like the last thing that a trauma victim would say about this. Then there's a whole story time about being in the freezer aisle of Costco. I guess they're just kind of getting into how this isn't an accurate portrayal of post-traumatic stress and blah blah blah, why it's not handled well, that's why they can't really respect this film. I think that a movie, especially with this kind of heightened reality, you know, of this impossible to kill killer, it's not gonna get everything right. I just think it's kind of useless to get so hung up on that. People really are out here writing full dissertations. We don't have time for that today. But they want to lure you in. They're like, "Hello, traveler, yes, you, come closer." Then they're like, "Oh, doesn't something seem wrong with Laurie?" I'm gonna spare you the ramblings. They say, "Yeah, it's not Laurie at all. It's Dr. Loomis." I do like the writing style. This is like a fun little creative writing exercise. But it all boils down to the thesis that this movie makes no sense. So the writing style is fun, but ultimately a dull take. Half star for the head crush, half star for killing true crime podcasters, otherwise wholly worthless. Like 90 minutes watching someone use your Facebook data to sort you into ad target groups. Horror is the worst genre of movies, most often employing the bottom of the barrel production gear, then get out of the theater. Why are you watching my favorite horror movies then? Go away. You can't sit with us. Man, people are like really pretentious about this. Wow, they're actually doing a sequel to this garbage? Stifles laughter. Okay, here's my pitch. Yeah, because we were all really clamoring to hear your pitch, Will. Yep, I still fucking hate it. I appreciate the attempt to give it a rewatch, because I'm always saying, you know, at least try to give it a redemption rewatch. So unbelievably stupid, the comedy works shockingly well. Seen on my computer, oh boo, brother. I can't wrap my mind around this. They think it's unbelievably stupid, but that the comedy worked really well. I think that the comedy is the stupidest thing about the movie. Crazy take. I'm witnessing a mind that I cannot even begin to understand. Glad I still have standards at least. Let's see your top 4, huh? Watch, is it gonna be like Fight Club, Jaws? They don't even have a top 4. Boo, fake fan, fake movie fan. Somebody reviewed this movie thinking that they were reviewing Rob Zombie's Halloween, and I wonder how many times that's happened to people. I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've run across it, but looking back, I'm like, oh, I guess I could be wrong. Do people really not look at the years or the posters when they go on Letterboxd? Might be a child. Maybe I should stop hating. We'll close it out with Just Visited Hell. I like that. I'm gonna steal that one as well. All right, time for Halloween Kills, which is my favorite of the entire franchise, I have to say. I've loved it since it came out, and honestly, like, all the people that I follow on Letterboxd love it too. And so I don't understand. I'm like, it's me and literally all of my friends on an island, apparently. I was so shocked when it first came out that I loved it, and everyone in my comments was like, girl, what are you talking about? I still love it now. It's gotten better on every rewatch. Well, okay, maybe I lost a little bit of the theatrical high because it was one of the first movies that I saw in theaters once like COVID protocol lifted. So then it went down to 4 stars for a while, and then it went back up to 5 stars last year. And I just put in a little tent emoji because like it's camp. Honestly, all my reviews for this are pretty good. Besides my first one, which like I was really upset. I did cry a lot in the theater, so valid. Want to get high and dance. That is my favorite line of dialogue from the movie, no doubt. When Big John said, "Stop, look, listen, it's Halloween," he was so right for that. That song is so good. God, the soundtrack in David Gordon Green's films are the best of the entire franchise. And then of course, thank you John Carpenter for calling this your favorite of the franchise and validating me, queen. Can't let anybody forget that. All right, haters. This, in fact, did not kill. Bad grammar, ding, 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 ding. Your joke could be funnier if you wrote it better. You should have said, "This did not in fact kill," not "This in fact did not kill." Boo, boo. When Offset wrote, "I cannot vibe with the queers," his pen was guided by Michael Myers. Halloween Kills feels like Jamie Lee Curtis passed away 6 days into filming and they were forced to fill out the film on the fly. Oh my god, I mean, I can kind of see where they're coming from, but god damn. This one was just less about Laurie and it just was more about filling out the lore of Haddonfield as a whole, and that's something that I really enjoy about it. It made the whole location feel so much more real, and I feel like just overall adds so much more history to the franchise. I love it. No joke, I've seen with better scripts, acting, and production value than this. The production value part of this line is really what gets me, because that's just not true. And if it is, brother, how much porn are you watching? Killed me. The anti-Halloween? Why would you say something so stupid yet so loud? What's anti-Halloween about being the movie with some of the most brutal kills and some of the most kills of the entire franchise? Because in her heart, Halloween has always been about care and witness, Laurie protecting Tommy and blah blah blah. Okay, well in this movie the whole town is protecting one another. I'm sorry, there's the whole moment in the park where Lindsay tells the kids to get out of there. Halloween Kills absolutely has echoes of that. Like, what are you talking about? Whatever, you know what, whatever. I get to experience more joy in my lifetime because I love Halloween Kills. Never forget that Michael Myers was shot 6 times, set on fire twice, run over by a car, pushed off a balcony, electrocuted, blown up, and decapitated, yet he still didn't give up. Always believe in your dreams. Oh my god, this one is so angry. I don't want to read that out. I'm not going to. It made me want to Halloween Kills myself, if you catch my drift. I'm losing steam here. Oh, brother. And Halloween Resurrection sighs with sweet relief. It has finally been set free. I like covering a franchise. This is the first time I've done this, and I really like this because there is a spot on the bingo card where somebody makes like a completely pointless comparison to another film, because that's been a major problem as of late. But when you're covering a franchise, it actually makes sense, so I'm fine with it. In fact, on that high note, we're gonna stop there and we're gonna move on to Halloween Ends, the last movie of the franchise. I sincerely thought that I was going to have to break up my filming for this video, but you know what? I've been recording for over an hour and a half and I'm still going strong. So let's just close this out, baby, okay? This was a big moment, all right? I was traveling to the UK and I was with some of my dearest horror-loving friends and we all went to go see Halloween Ends together. I had my hopes up so high for this because I had loved the previous 2 installments. And then on that fateful day, October 14th of 2022, I said never thought I'd be one of those fans unhappy with the Halloween franchise for trying something new, but here the fuck we are. Oh, my anger was real. Like, I look back and I cringe at this, but I'm not gonna like delete it or rewrite it or anything because that's legitimately how I felt at that time. Like 1.5 stars. I really just was not okay. And then I tried to rewatch it the following year. I bumped my score up to 2 stars and I wish I could love this movie. You don't understand how much I'm trying, but it's so fucking bad. God. Oh my god, the battery pack just ran out. Both of my thumbnails popped off as I was trying to change it. Let's just finish this. Anyway, as I was saying, upon my viewing of last year, I finally just gave in and I said, okay, yay. Because I bumped my score up to 3 stars, you know, I had an okay time with it. I've come to terms with what Halloween Ends is, but I know that a lot of people, it's still relatively fresh, so people are really clinging on to their resentment of David Gordon Green and their hatred of this film. Some of the top reviews just on the very front page are 1-star reviews. The top one being, for example, what in the actual fuck is this movie? This is how y'all end this mid-ass trilogy? This is a fucking prank. You're fucking trolling. The second most popular with almost 9,000 likes, Michael Myers is finally in a position to just sit back and relax while an unpaid intern does all the work, and not a second too late because the poor guy must be in his 80s. These movies have the worst goddamn posters. Edit. These posters have the worst goddamn movies. Edit. Oh my god, they changed it and it's worse? Oh my god, I remember that at the time and having the exact same opinion. The whole like Michael and Laurie back to back. Oh brother. Oh brother, that poster stinks. Can't tell you if evil did in fact die tonight, but what I can tell you is that my soul absolutely did. This whole review is just expressing like really disappointed confusion, and I have to say I was right there with you in the beginning. There are films available for free on YouTube involving Michael Myers seeing his son off on his first day of school and becoming gym bros with Frederick Krueger that are more convincing and substantial on a simple narrative level than what happens in this movie. It actually does make a good amount of sense, especially now that I've supplemented it with reading the novelization. I covered that in 2023. I did a novel to movie comparison and I did get a lot of the answers that I was seeking. The novel fills in so much more, and I feel like if there was an extended director's cut where all the scenes of the book were included in the movie, that there would be a lot more of an appreciation for Halloween Ends. I think it might have been a better execution for sure, but unfortunately we'll never know. Absolutely fucking not. The writers have clearly never interacted with anybody in marching band. Honestly, I will second that because I don't know if this was true in David Gordon Green's experience. I feel like maybe when I did my research he did mention this, but one of my best friends of all time growing up was in the marching band, and from what I understand, understand, oh, you know what? And in high school, one of my best friends on the volleyball team, she was in marching band. From what I understand, the marching band, they're like the coolest, laid back. A lot of them are stoners, very nice, very smart kids. So that is a criticism I can get behind ultimately. Oh, I love this quote. Mr. Gordon Green, what you've just made is one of the most insanely idiotic things I've ever seen, even by franchise standards. At no point in your rambling, incoherent movie were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in the cinema is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you 1 star at Letterboxd, and may God have mercy on the legacy of Halloween. Where are we at with Halloween, by the way? Have there been any updates to the TV show? Is that still happening? Anybody? 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 Does anybody know? Such a smart move for the grand finale of this new Halloween triptych to turn the spotlight on the franchise's most iconic and beloved character, Corey. God, that was mine and a lot of people's biggest issue with this goddamn movie. It was like, who the hell is this guy? I've gotten over it, and I love him now, and I really love the actor, so. How am I expected to take a villain seriously if he's intimidated by a teenager with a mullet? Seth's reviews is asking the important questions. It's Myron time. Should I stop there while we're ahead? Come on now. A Morbius quote. Jurassic World Dominion is back. That's another good one. Yeah, we're gonna stop there. I've been doing this for long enough. Woo! Oh my gosh. Honestly, not too abysmal of a day. I had a pretty good time. I think that a lot of the reviews were really funny. I think there were a lot of valid criticisms amongst all of the negativity. So I really can't hate too much, can I? I've been on so many roller coasters myself with all these films that I have no room to judge a lot of these people. And yet I still managed to. And that's what you come here for on this channel, is ultimately hypocrisy. This has been another installment of the hypocrite and Antichrist. I'm not redoing that take. That was just pure gold improvisation. I'm losing my mind. I gotta cut this video off. The next installment of this franchise, I'll probably be going back and finishing off the 80s. I still need to do part 3. So let me know if that is something that you're still excited for, if I should continue on with this series. I'm still having fun, surprisingly. I had to do it for Halloween, and I feel like I'm gonna have to do it for some of my other favorite franchises at the very least. But I do also want to continue on with the decades, so give me some feedback down below. I know we're all so excited for Halloween. I hope that your plans are coming to fruition. I hope that you've been enjoying watching Halloween movies. I hope you've been enjoying doing my watch list challenge. And if you haven't been and you're new here, then go back and check out my old content, check out the watch list challenge. Fuck it, you can do it in November. Who said you can't do an October watch list challenge in November? Who has no thumbnails and says that you can keep watching horror movies in November? This girl. Anyway, if you've made it to the end of the video, then obviously you should stick around because it means that you can put up with my antics. And also perhaps check out my other channels. Okay, I have a second channel where I primarily talk about physical media. That is one of my life's great loves. I also have a Patreon where there is a podcast with my dad. We put out 1 to 2 episodes every single month. They are always over an hour long. So there's a lot of bonus content to enjoy over there, but that's not all. There are also bonus reviews. There are channel and career updates over there. Depending on which tier you join, you get a bonus video every single week. So check it all out. Find me on social media if you so desire. But more than anything, I just hope that you enjoyed this video and that I catch you in the next one. Bye.